Hi everybody, welcome back to another video on this channel. In today's video I'm going to show you how to shade a realistic skin tone. So before we move on to that, I'm currently using the grid method to get an accurate outline of my reference image. So in case you want to follow along, I'll have the link to download this reference image in the description down below. Alright, so before I start shading, I usually start with an HB pencil and I use the hatching technique to start with. The hatching technique allows you to shade a bit faster. So I'm currently using the hatching technique and I'm moving my pencil with a lighter pressure. That will give me a smoother shade. Alright, so start with an HB pencil and build up tones step by step. You can see that I'm also using a soft brush to blend. So basically that's going to help me build my first layer easily. Since I'm working around the eyes, I'm using the charcoal pencil to also create my shadows or my darkest areas. So you need to be a little bit patient because the first layer is where everything lies on. That's where it gives you the room to build up tones. So you need to get it right. So you need to be patient, and it's kind of a long process, but you need to be patient and build up tones step by step. So whilst I'm creating my skin tones, I'm also blending smoothly with my soft brush. Alright, so now you can see that I've made much progress still using the HB pencil. So now it's time to use a 4B pencil to add much darker shade. And for instance, the eyeball, I use the charcoal pencil to get that kind of darkness because the HB pencil wouldn't be able to do that. So I use the charcoal pencil to get the darkness of the eyeball. So I'm currently using the 4B pencil to get a much darker shade. All right. Okay, so now you can see that there's been a much progress compared to the previous one. So this was done much more with the 4B pencil, as I said before. And basically you need to just be patient and continue to shade and build up stones step by step. So now I'm going to move away from the eye and start shading the nose. So it's going to be the same idea, the same principle. Start with a lighter grade of pencil and build up tones step by step. So just like I said, I'm still using the HB pencil to build up tones around the nose. So basically still the HB pencil, but I'll shift or I'll move on to the 4B pencil and continue to build where necessary. So now working on the second eye is the same procedure for the first eye that I'm using on the second eye. So start with a lighter grade of pencil and build it on step by step. So I'm still using the hatching technique, but at a certain point in time I also use the circularism technique, whereby I move the pencil in a circular motion. But also bear in mind that you need to keep the shading close to each other. So you can see that I'm also applying the graphite powder. So basically I also use the graphite powder to build up skin tones. So in as much as I'm using the normal pencil to shade, I'm also using the graphite powder to add more depth on the skin tone. Alright, so a quick tip. Also bear in mind that when shading or during the shading process, you need to have in mind where to put in your charcoal pencil and where you need to put in your graphite pencil, because these two different tools have different effects on your work. So you can see that working around the cheeks, I'm using the charcoal and also using the graphite at the same time. So areas where there are more shadows or areas which are much more darker, I'm using the charcoal pencil. where necessary, and the areas that requires the graphite pencil, I'm using the graphite pencil as well. So I'm still using the hatching technique and blending with my soft brush. At a certain point in time, areas that has a much larger area, I'm using a soft foam or I'm using a tissue paper to blend. So with the beard, I'm simply using the charcoal pencil to create the beard, and I'm trying to move the pencil in a kind of a circular motion or in a curly motion, right? And I'm blending with my brush as usual. So now it's time to work on the forehead, and I'm still using my HB pencil for my first layer. So have in mind that to get the forehead right, or to get a much smoother shade, you need to start with a lighter grade of pencil. So I'm still using the HB pencil to layer down my first skin tone, right? So once that is done, I'm going to come in with my brush, as you can see, to blend in my first layer. I'm also applying the graphite powder to add much darker shade on the forehead. So now working on the hair, I'm still using the charcoal pencil for the darker area, which is the hair and the beard. So it's the same process I used on the beard that I'm also using for the hair as well. So now it is time to move on to the fun part, which is to create the skin textures. So basically, to create the skin textures, I'm using the Tombow Mono Zero eraser to add tiny or subtle highlights on the forehead and the skin areas where they are necessary. So now I'm moving on to the neck, and I'll be adding my shadows in, and we'll check back and add more details to the face, and I think we'll be finally done. So now it's time to add more details where necessary. So I'll take my time to add the tiny details, and everything will be done. So if you enjoy watching this video, kindly hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you hopefully in the next one.